Welcome back to the BettorOff PropCast for the Week 3 Thursday night matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans. I'm your host, Dan Skolowski. With me today, as always, our resident big winner, Mr. PropHolliday. So why don't we start off, before we go into this matchup on Thursday night, why don't we start out talking a little bit about this past weekend and our bets. So, Prop, why don't you give us a little bit of recap about how you did this past weekend?
Sure. Looking back at week two, I went with 12 plays. I went a solid 8-4, which was plus 3.4 units. A couple nice hits with Zach Pascal over 3.5 receptions. That was over at plus 130. Couple close losses. David Njoku had over 20.5 receiving yards. He finished with 18 on the day. Jacoby Myers had to get 5 receptions. He finished with 4. But a lot of fun. I had to close out the weekend. I hit both of my Sunday night games with Mahomes and TDs, Hardman and yards. And then Monday Night Football was a blast, believe it or not. Jamal Williams, with 3 receptions. And the man everybody knows about now, Quintez Cephas, I had over 2.5 receptions, and he had the first touchdown of the game. So I know I made some people money on Monday Night Football, which was awesome.
Yeah, you're looking at the Cephas Whisperer over here, a name that I had not even heard yet before going to that. And then I saw the morning you were asking for a line on Quintez Cephas, and then I did not tell. And I remember the first drive of the game, he went down, caught a pass, went down, caught a touchdown, and then next I was like, all right, well, you live and you learn. I guess next time I'll pay more attention to his lines like that. So Thursday Night Football, very exciting matchup. If you can't tell, I can't wait to watch this game. Panthers 2-0 going into Houston to take on the 101 Texas, a team that who even knows at this point. I mean, they're 1-1, right? They pulled out that week 1 win over Jacksonville, who now looks not very good at all. So are the Texans still really as bad as people thought they were going to be? I mean, people are saying they were going to easily be the worst team in the NFL. Jacksonville's still kind of fighting for that title. But the Panthers, one thing I do know is the Panthers do look good. So I don't think that this – I mean, the line right now I believe is -8. It may have moved just a half a point in the past few days, but I believe it's -8. I don't think the Panthers will have any issue in this game, and that'll kind of reflect a little bit when I get into my same game parlay picks. But before we get into our SGPs, I know PropHolliday always loves his single play, so why don't you take it away?
So far through 2 weeks, I am 2-0 with my Thursday Night Football play. So I'm hoping to make it 3-0 with Dan Arnold. That is not Sam Darnold. That is Dan Arnold, the tight end for the Carolina Panthers. I got the line at 20.5 for his receiving yards over on Caesars. Arnold's coming off 5 targets for 3 receptions and 55 yards last week. The previous week, he had 3 targets. I believe he's in line for another 4. So he's really kind of building the rapport with Sam Darnold. What I really like about it is the matchup. So the Texans were attacked by the Browns in the whole tight end core. I mean, every tight end they had on the roster had a decent game, the exception of Njoku. Austin Hooper, Harrison Bryant, David Njoku, they combined as a tight end unit, 11 receptions for 107 yards. Then you go back to that week 1 game you mentioned against the Jaguars. James O'Shaughnessy, 6 receptions for 48 yards. So to get Dan Arnold to be over 20.5 receiving yards, he has the ability to do it in 1 catch. Last week, he had 3 big catches. They were for 17, 19, and 19 yards against a New Orleans defense, which is pretty good. So I like this line as low as it is. I think it went up to 21.5, some places 22. But I think he's going to be the third option. I like the line. I like the matchup. So Dan Arnold over 20.5 receiving yards in Sam Darnold's, primetime debut not being on the Jets.
All right, yeah. So I'm glad you touched on that a little bit, because that's going to play a little bit, I think, into my same game parlay, and it may play into yours as well a little bit. So while we're talking on it, why don't we just get right into it? As always, we will save the best for last, and I will go first. So for my same game parlay, I'm sticking with the 7 legs, which I stuck for last. I was correct last week in saying that it would be a shootout, but I think everything else about that parlay was not right. I think I maybe went like 2 of 7 or something. It was bad. Made up for it on Monday night. It is what it is. So we're going to start out 7 legs plus 700, so 10 to win, 710. This is on Barstool Sportsbook on their Parlay Plus. So we're starting out CMC 2 touchdowns. To preface this whole thing, I think that the Panthers will probably score somewhere between 4 and 5 touchdowns, and the Texans may score 2. If they're lucky. I'm kind of leaning more towards 1 touchdown and maybe some field goals. But so this is the thought process that's going in when I'm coming up with these numbers. So I think McCaffrey's going to score 2 of them. That's only plus 250 for him to score for him to score 2 touchdowns. So I like that, starting that off as the base. Behind him with other Panthers touchdown scorers, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson both to score. I have both of these guys on my fantasy lineup through the first 2 weeks. Week 1, I started Anderson. Moore went off. Week 2, or other way around. They're both just taken from each other, and it's kind of hard. I mean, DJ Moore is the clear number 1 receiver, but it's impossible to know when Robbie Anderson's when he's gonna rear his head and catch a 50, 60-yard ball. So I kind of like both of them to have touchdowns. DJ Moore is plus 130 and Robbie Anderson is plus 190, so they are favoriting Moore to have a touchdown, obviously the clear number 1 wide receiver. And then that's it for touchdown passes. On the back of touchdowns, on the back of that, I'm going to go obviously Darnold over 1.5 touchdown passes because that would just be ridiculous. Really, he's minus 148. So then we have Brandon Cooks. So on the other end, I'm assuming I'm playing the classic. Texans are going to be from behind. They're going to be throwing the ball. So Brandon Cooks over 68.5 receiving yards is minus 115. I just like him as the best option in the we're down by 2 or 3 touchdowns and we just need yards and we need to get them quick. I mean, he's obviously the go-to guy. And, the Panthers secondary is, you got some?
I was going to say, I was actually almost considering throwing this play into my lineup. He had 10 targets last week, Cooks. He had 14 on the game. He had 10 with Mills in the second half alone. So Mills isn't stupid. He knows who he's got to get the ball to. I like the line. I think it was 5.5 at plus 130. I almost jumped on it, but I stayed away just because of the uncertainty of short week, rookie, first-time starter. But honestly, the value is there for Brandon Cooks. This guy Mills knows he has to get him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's been around for a good while now. He's back playing prime time. I think 68.5 again. As we talked, he had 10 targets last week. They know who they need to get the ball to, and they're going to be playing from behind. So all of that together, I like 68.5. On top of that, I just have a alternate over of 39. So this is kind of, I believe the over-under is set at 41.5 or 42.5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I like dropping it a little bit. Like I said, I kind of maybe like having. I see a scenario in which the Lions score 4 touchdowns for 28 points, and then maybe the I say Lions, the Panthers. The Panthers score 4 touchdowns for 28. Same colors. Robbie Anderson. I don't know, for some reason I thought he was in the Lions. And then I see the Texans maybe have it putting up 13, so 28-13, 41. So 41.5, 42 kind of is a little bit much for me. So I like just dropping it a tad to alt over 39, which is at minus 195. So that's going to be a 7-leg parlay. Actually, thinking about it now and looking and going through it, I think it's only going to count as a 6-leg parlay because my Darnold over 1.5 TD passes probably is not working into the odds since I have Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore TDs. But I'm not sure because they could also run the ball in. So that is, I'm not 100% sure. So it might be 6 legs plus 700 or 7 legs plus 700. Doesn't matter. Those are still the plays that I like. They'll still be the plays regardless. So $10 to win 710. That's on Barstool. Coming off of a good Monday night where I hit a $50. I have on MGM. I had a free $25 credit. So I put $50 on a parlay in the Packers game, and I ended up paying about $1,400. So I'm not guaranteeing. Thank you. I love my fans. I'm not guaranteeing. Lightning's going to strike twice here, and the odds on this were much higher. I think the odds. That's actually not true. There was like plus 2,300 or something. But I am just I'm pretty cold on Thursday Night Football and pretty hot on Monday Night Football right now, so I'm trying to switch those. Plus 700, 7 legs, 10 to win, 710. PropHolliday. What do you got for us?
So I'm over on FanDuel with my same game parlay. I keep all mine at $10. These are lottery tickets for me. This is the price of a movie admission, so I'm getting 3 hours of entertainment, win, lose, or draw. Um, I have 6 legs. The first two are obvious. One is Dan Arnold over on the receiving yards we already talked about before, and the other is the Carolina Panthers minus 6.5. I dropped it down to 6.5 from 7.5 because if I can get it under a touchdown, I just feel a little bit more comfortable. It doesn't do anything crazy to the odds. And now I get kind of into the hairs of my same game parlay. Jordan Akins, the tight end for the Texans, over 17.5 receiving yards. To play into the fact you said they're going to be throwing a lot, Akins had 2 targets in the second half last week with Mills. I think he's going to be more of a short yardage tight end for them. And I do think he's going to get some targets because what does a rookie QB love more than his tight end? 17.5 seems pretty reasonable. He should probably see, I think, at least 4 targets this Thursday. Another name, Sam Darnold, over 6.5 rushing yards. We haven't seen it yet this season, but Darnold really liked to tuck it and run. Last year, first couple years with the Jets, he's a lot more athletic than people think. I think last time he played Thursday Night Football against the Broncos last year, he had like a 40-yard run, something like that. So this is only 6.5. And then last week we saw Baker Mayfield against this Texans team. He had like 8 rushes. So there's something that teams are seeing with the middle of the field and this Texans defense. I expect Sam Darnold to pull it down at least once and take off. So over 6.5 for Sam Darnold. And then my 2 touchdown guys, they're kind of randos. One is the Jordan Akins that I talked about before. He is the tight end. I think if they get into the red zone at some point, he could be a short yardage touchdown score. And then a name that we haven't heard too much of, and it plays into the game script, Chuba Hubbard, backup running back for the Carolina Panthers. Great value. You have to look at this season. It's 17 games. I expect them to get up at some point, 21-3, 21-7. Do you really want to keep Christian McCaffrey in the game this long for a game that's probably not going to get close? I don't think so. So second half, garbage time. Chuba Hubbard steals a touchdown and maybe spells him a little bit in the first half. So touchdowns to Hubbard and Jordan Atkins. Darnold over on rushing yards. Atkins over on receiving. Dan Arnold over on receiving. And then the Carolina Panthers minus 6.5. It's 10 to win $3,000. So I'm gonna have 3 hours of entertainment for this. I got a little bit of reasoning behind it, but at the end of the day, these are lottery tickets.
Yeah, I saw that Hubbard's touchdown line was in the 300s, 400s. He was down there, but I do like that reasoning of why is McCaffrey, if this is really going to be the game that people think it's going to be, why would McCaffrey be in the game to punch touchdowns in the second half? So I do like that, and it's only 13 minutes, but we ran through that. You got anything else?
I don't have anything just yet. I just started to do my research for this Sunday. Lines are kind of trickling in across all the different books. I think a couple lines up early. I'm eyeing some Mike Davis plays. Is this the week that the Falcons don't have to play from behind? So Mike Davis is looking interesting. I'm just starting to get it out there, but should have some plays out for this Sunday. I don't care that it's probably going to be a crappy game. Thursday Night Football is still football, and I will watch, damn it. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, we've had, and the first last week obviously was a good game against 2 not good teams. This week is a probably not good game against 1 good team, and then next week we have the Bengals and the Jaguars, I believe, on Thursday night. So
2 number 1
really
picks. The last 2 number 1 picks, Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. I actually love watching the Bengals. They're so much fun. T. Higgins was the man in Clemson. T. Higgins, old quarterback. Trevor Lawrence. Then you got the Jamar Chase. I actually more excited for that game than I would be for this game.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, me too. No, obviously, other than opening night, Bucks Cowboys. No big games yet, but they're saving those for Monday night this week with the Cowboys and the Birds, obviously. But that's all we got for you. Make sure to. If you haven't downloaded the BettorOff app yet, make sure to download that app. Follow me. Follow PropHolliday. We're putting some of our picks in there. Make sure that you tail those and check it out. Let us know what you think. Follow us on social media. Our Twitter is at BettorOff Sports, and our Instagram is at just BettorOff. And until then, so we'll have another. We'll be back in a few days for the Monday night PropCast. And until then, let's hope that we're talking about the Thursday night and the wins that we got on these giant hits. So until then, for PropHolliday, I am Dan Skolomsky, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, guys.